Yes.
How's it going?
Awesome. What's going on, my man?
Not too much. So, of course, I am Squatch in the pit, and we are welcomed here with Mr. John Calo here of Along Came a Spider. Definitely want to
What's up,
thank you
everybody?
so much for joining us here today.
Hey, appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. So, definitely want to hear more about Along Came a Spider. We see that you guys have your Spotify channel that just hit. You guys are just around 15,000 monthly listeners. You have over 500,000, over a half million overall streams. And with Galaxy Eyes, you guys have hit over 200,000 streams. Tell me what that's like.
Well, I'll correct you a little bit just because I monitor the Spotify so much. I don't know what we are overall. I mean, we had two full-length albums prior to this, but we just hit 500,000 streams with the last four singles. So those are just the ones from this current album cycle. So
Wow.
the 200,000 was the first single that we released called Galaxy Eyes. And so that, the previous record was a different time. I mean, we released our previous two records in 2012 and 2014. So back then, I mean, we were still selling physical CDs at shows and stuff like that. So, the Spotify numbers are a little different for those records as they are for this new one. So,
Right.
so we're taking all these milestones as they come because it's a first for us. So hitting 500,000 for the first four singles is good. We think.
Oh, I would definitely agree with that. You guys, this whole year has just been phenomenal for you guys. You guys have been just releasing track after track after track. And, especially considering all the setbacks from this year, what have you learned from this year that you can take moving on for the future?
Kind of, I wouldn't say lucky, but it's one of those things that we've actually had this record done for a while, but we had something happen that we couldn't put it out last year, and then COVID happened this year. So we kind of, what I mean by lucky is the fact that we have a whole album that's done already, where most of the other bigger bands are in the studio right now and they're making time. For us, we already had our content finished, so we just started pumping it out and seeing how it goes. So the original plan was to put out a record. We had big festivals planned for the summer and things like that, and everything got cleared off the slate, obviously. So we were like, let's just put out. We recorded the songs individually, so let's just put them out individually. Why not?
Yeah, I would definitely say that's the style or the way that a lot of artists are doing it anymore is just kind of
Yeah, I
single.
mean, we've been kind of paying attention to what some of the bands that we've played with, like Asking Alexandria and Word Alive, and bands that are kind of in our different genre of like, hey, they're just all doing singles right now. So you know if that's the way the current music trend is, then that's the way it is. I mean, I still would love to be hawking CDs out of our trunk, but it doesn't look like it's going to go back to that
I don't know.
ever.
I'm seeing a large rise. I feel I wouldn't say necessarily large, but just physical media. I feel like might be coming back a little bit. Like there is a almost like a cult following for like the vinyl and even the old
Oh yeah,
CDs. I've seen like some CDs just especially if their first presses go for 50, 60 bucks even if they've been played before.
yeah. I've seen a few people do cassettes, and that always kind of cracks me up. But I'm like, hey, whatever works.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of bands. I think the last one I remember seeing was the Beartooth one. They had a cassette they just put out. And it's
I
crazy to
mean,
think.
I feel like everyone's kind of in the same boat right now. We're just all trying to figure out how to survive and how to be viable when there's no gigs, which is usually how everybody survives. So it's just kind of figuring it out as we go. And for us especially, we've never been in this position where it's strictly streaming, and it's not always going to be like that. Like we do want to put out a physical CD, like you mentioned vinyl. We do want to do vinyl because we know we have a grassroots. We're an unsigned band right now. A lot of people, because we've done so much touring and all that kind of stuff, I don't think they really know that we're still an underground independent band, even though we've been making good marks and things like that. So it's like, we're still doing things completely on our own, with the exception of our management, 10 and 8. Give them a shout out. But yeah, we're gonna just put out these singles, and then when the demand goes for a record, or a lot of it was we really want to chart with this one, so we're letting the numbers build up, and then when we get enough where we're like, all right, we'll definitely chart, then we'll put out the record. But for right now, it's single time.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And I also remember seeing you guys have a new track coming out here on Friday. It was going to go by the name of Your Reckoning. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, this one was a fun one. We kind of changed styles a little bit on this record. So our second single, Remedy, was very poppy compared to a lot of the stuff that we had been doing. So this one is a little more in tow of what our fans are used to, our old sound. So it's definitely got a lot of the newer nuances of what we're doing now, but some of the older fans are going to be like, oh, this one's my jam right here, because this is probably the heaviest song on the record, like, overall.
Yeah, I remember catching up a little bit of a sneak peek of that, and it's definitely a banger out there. If you guys have been following along with Along Came a Spider, they have been putting out some great heavy songs, but this one, as you say, it's even heavier than the other ones.
Yeah, we haven't lost our edge. That was one of the things when we were recording with Evan McKeever. He plays in a band called Nine Shrines, but he does a lot of great production work for bands, and so that was one of the things. We didn't want to lose our edge. We did want to become a little more commercial, just because we obviously want to get our name out there more, but we didn't want to go all the way into the pop realm like a lot of bands have either. So we have had some edge on because the previous singles were Galaxy Eyes, Remedy, Left Behind, and American Beauty, which was the most recent one that we had. So there was some heavy, but this is like a heavy one, where there's old school metalcore breakdown, and it gets a little nasty, which people I think will enjoy this one.
Yeah, I know for myself, I enjoy some nastiness, so I know people out there, if you enjoy the nasty, you're gonna love the new one from Along Came a Spider. Now, you also kind of touched into this with the whole touring and just doing what you're able to do right now. Now, most of your group or people that are in the band are in the U.S., but you also have somebody that lives in Canada. What has that been like during this whole quarantine?
Yeah, for us, quarantine, it poses a challenge because, so our singer, Jamie Miller, lives in Canada. We found him on YouTube. He had a couple of covers that we were like, oh, this is the guy for us. So, and for us, we live in Cleveland, so realistically, he lives right outside of Toronto in a town called Chatham, which is near London and stuff, and it's right across the lake,
Right.
So if in touring before, it wasn't that bad. It was just kind of bring them over the border in Detroit and call it good. But right now, the borders are closed between the two countries, so it kind of sucks that a lot of bands are doing live streams and they're doing this, or we can't even get together to do a photo shoot. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, I can only imagine that, just being separated from the rest of your group there.
Yeah, so I don't know. If we start doing some overseas touring, which is kind of, next on the agenda, that'll be a little easier because we can just send them to that country instead. But for right now, until the U.S. can get their shit together, he's kind of stuck up there away from us. And, we're a pretty close-knit band. We've been at this for a long time, but, we still talk every day in our thread, and we still practice every 2 weeks and stuff like that. So, so it's been different being without Jamie, but we know we'll see our little buddy soon.
Definitely. Now, speaking of Jamie there and covers, I had looked into you guys because I'm familiar with your newer stuff, but I was not familiar of some of the covers that you guys had done in the past with My Chemical Romance and Paramore. How do you guys decide what songs to cover if you do a cover song?
Well, so when we first started touring, I mean, this was probably maybe 2012, 2013, 2014. That was a while ago now. That we were really unknown band, and so we were going out and we were still touring and we are still headlining tours, but nobody really knew us that much. They knew us from a song that we did with Scott Barnes from In Fear and Faith, and then later on we did a song with Garrett Rapp from Color Morale. So there was like a little bit of recognition, but we're going into some of these markets like Mesa, Arizona, or Salt Lake City or something like that. The Midwest knows us a little more than out there because we hadn't been out there. So we're like, everyone's watching us, but nothing's really connecting yet. You know what I mean? And so we decided throwing a cover into the set would kind of get people like, even if they've never heard us before, they're at least like, ooh, this song, I know this one. And so a lot of the times every member of Long Came Spider listens to something different. So picking a cover is always kind of a crapshoot of like, what are people gonna want to hear as opposed to maybe what we like, you know what I mean? Like we could play some technical shit and everyone's gonna be like, what happened there, But
Right.
So I think Paramore came about it. We just really liked the song. We thought it would be fun to do like a male version of, and then with what's the most recent one? I'm drawing a blank now. With My Chemical Romance, that one was just a song that we adored, and we were like, oh, people will go crazy for it,
Yeah, definitely. I listened to that one. I'm like, definitely a really good one. I haven't heard many of what I would say good covers. I'm Not Okay, but you guys absolutely nailed that one, and also Paramore. I think you guys did a phenomenal job on both of those.
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Well, we knew, especially with My Chemical Romance, that it's such a sacred song that if we fucked it up, people are gonna really know. So that's why we kind of did it almost note for note, as close to the original as we could. That way people are like, really Jamie's vocals are the only thing that kind of separates it. Like if you just heard the song, you'd be like, and that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted it to be close enough to the original, because why try to make it, it's already an almost perfect song. Like why try to make it crazy? Like we did a little breakdown in the guitar solo part, but we're like, yeah, we knew the critical masses would be all over us if we didn't do that song some real justice.
Oh no, I definitely get that. There's definitely those songs out there that you can just easily mess up and everyone will be just on you about it. So, definitely.
Trust me, I've heard a lot over the internet.
But definitely applaud you guys for those covers and also doing all the phenomenal original work you guys are doing. What can we expect from you guys the rest of this year and into 2021?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, we're kind of taking this one as we go, like everyone else is. We don't know when things are going to open up. Like, we've had plenty of opportunities. We've had lots of festival offers. We've had, a lot of bands that we want to go out on tour with that we're just kind of like, we're kind of stuck. You know what I mean? Like everybody's I was just talking to, we're really good friends with Modern Day Escape. And
Nice.
we're both like talking about tour stuff and how we're both kind of like, this normally would be the time that we would be going out.
Yeah.
And now we're just sitting at home, trying to make content and things like that. So, I mean, that's why we even appreciate this interview, because anything that can get us out there is awesome. So we do appreciate it. But I'd say to answer the question, sorry, I go off on tangents sometimes. For this year, we're just going to continue releasing singles. I know it's funny because we we're releasing Your Reckoning on Friday, and I'm already kind of looking ahead to the next one. Of like, we've got a pretty emotional one coming out after this. So
Awesome.
like we're gonna focus on the singles, and then when we get through the winter and hopefully that COVID goes away, or at least to the point where all these venues can open up, then we'll get right back to it. We're ready to go, just kind of waiting.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of in that boat, just hoping for that sign to say, hey, everything's back, let's go ahead and get out there and enjoy each other.
Exactly. So hopefully, I mean, the next song is our 5th single off the record, believe it or not. So we're kind of getting to that point where, we're going to have to release the record eventually, but we don't want to do it and have it flop, because this is a very important record for us. I don't think it'll flop, but we want to make sure we hit the numbers that we know we're capable of. So it's like we kind of have to wait until we can tour support behind it to really get it out there. So we'll just keep releasing singles, and hopefully people keep jamming it. We're so appreciative of all the love that people have been giving us. Like it feels, even though everything else has sucked, it's feel great that people are jamming us and putting us on our playlists and that kind of stuff, and even the support that you guys have shown us at Squatch. So like, we appreciate all that kind of stuff, because people can go anywhere for music these days. So just listening to us, it's cool.
Definitely thank you for appreciating what we've been doing for you guys. And best way I can say it is, we love the bands that are out there putting in the work and wanting to be found, and we just absolutely love putting the spotlight on you guys.
Hey, we'll take any bit we can get, you know what I mean? But we do appreciate it coming from y'all.
Definitely. And then I got one last question for you here. So, of course, you see me here, I'm a Sasquatch. Now, I want to know, have you ever seen or heard of Sasquatch in real life? Or have you ever had any unexplainable experience or encounter?
All right, that's a good one. Well, I know, this is actually my first time even using Zoom. So to see a Sasquatch in front of me on that was kind of a fun surprise. But in real life, no. When we've been on tour, we've seen bears and deer and all sorts of crazy shit, but never seen a Sasquatch. Trust me, we've seen a lot of scary woods in our time of playing these weird outdoor festivals on pallet stages, back when we first started. So yeah, I think if there was one in the wild, we might have seen one. But I think you're it.
I'm right here. I'm real.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely want to thank you so much here for taking the time to sit with us here. Again, this is John. He's the bassist from Along Came a Spider, and honestly, he's a jack of all trades for them. I know you do a lot of the video work and editing as well. And just lastly, where can we find Along Came a Spider?
Oh, I always love this question because it's easy. Find us anywhere. It's one of those things that sometimes if you go on Google and put in Along Came a Spider, you're going to get the book or the Morgan Freeman movie. So if you put Along Came a Spider and anywhere, you'll find us. But if you just put Along Came a Spider into Spotify and YouTube, into TikTok, into Instagram, like, we're on everything. It's that day and age where you got to be on it whether you like it or not. So Twitter, I forgot about that one. I don't know. We're probably on some stuff that
there's so many
stuff
platforms
that we don't even know about.
Right.
So again, whenever someone asks me that question, I just say we're on everything.
Awesome. So again, you guys can find Along Came a Spider pretty much on anything, any sort of platform. Just look them up. And again, coming out Friday, we've got their latest. It's Your Reckoning. And thank you again, John.
Make sure you guys jam it. Follow it on your playlists, follow it on your things and put it on your playlists. As a grassroots independent band, anything helps for us.
Definitely. And you guys will be hearing that song here Friday as well. as well as that'll be in our Squatch sightings, which are every day at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. So, John, again, thank you so much for
That's
joining
awesome,
in
guys.
today. We appreciate you. And
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
absolutely. Squatch out.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you.